Welcome to the Pipe Pricks Podcast with your hosts, John and Matt.
Welcome to the Pipe Pricks Podcast, Episode 4.
I'm Matt, and I'd like to thank just the Tip Cigars for welcoming us. And we are, as John would say, in wild, wonderful South Park, Pennsylvania at just the Tip Cigars this morning.
And I'm John, and I'm smoking a real nice Castello straight grain with HU Virginia tobacco.
The Edward G, I believe
Edward
it's
G,
called.
right.
And I am smoking a brand new, new to me, brand new actually, JS Briars Sandblast Poker.
Was that JS?
JS Briars.
I didn't make it.
You're funny. He's a newer carver up and coming out of Texas. We'll put his socials in the chat. And I am smoking some plum pudding bourbon barrel aged, which is a pretty, and it's the Sutliff Arab, if you guys know the difference. So it's a pretty rare tobacco to get your hands on, and I was fortunate enough to find a tin this past couple weeks. So our first topic today is going to be guidance for new pipe smokers, and Jimmy K, we'll call him, was a friend of mine in high school, and John and I had him for an in-home physical therapist for various reasons, and he sent us a question that we thought deserved more than a casual answer. So we're going to talk about advice for new pipe smokers, and what kind of pipes do we recommend starting out with?
I really can't talk about corn cob since I've really never smoked a corn cob.
So the first one I listed was a corn cob from your local brick and mortar or Missouri. Meerschaum makes really good ones, and pretty inexpensive. You can get a nice starter cob for around $20 to $25. They come with a hardwood plug in the bottom, and the nice thing about a corn cob is they don't ghost flavors. And John, do you want to explain what ghosting a flavor is in a pipe?
Well, a briar pipe, once you smoke it a number of times, it will tend to keep the flavor and so on of previous tobaccos that were smoked in that pipe. And that is called ghosting.
Okay. And just for the record, while they're called Missouri Meerschaum, they don't actually sell any Meerschaum pipes, which I think is kind of ironic. But I actually did pick up a new corn cob from them this week that I'll be smoking after the podcast here. My second recommendation is to look for a cheap basket pipe. To pick up a cheap basket pipe. I'm trying to figure out why my iPad is recording everything I'm saying right now.
So is mine.
Okay, this is weird. Anyway, picking up a cheap basket or wall pipe, you can usually find one in the, what would you say, $60 to $80 range, John?
Yeah, that's about appropriate.
The big thing you want to look for in a basket pipe is making sure it doesn't have any big divots or fills in it, although even with that case, they should smoke just fine. John, do you want to explain what a fill is in a pipe?
Well, a fill is when there's a flaw in the actual wood itself, and a lot of the pipe makers will use a putty, which we will then coat over with their finish, and the putty is usually a weak spot in the briar, and the ideal, you want a pipe that has no fills, but then a new smoker should not discount having pipes with fills in them.
Yeah, fills, while ugly, are not detrimental to your smoking experience.
It depends on how big the fill is.
Yes. Yes.
And where it's at.
Very true. And then when you have friends like John, you can always, go the gift from a friend route. Look for a local pipe club, and maybe somebody will be willing to help somebody new get on their feet.
I've given away a number of pipes to new smokers to try to encourage them to advance in the hobby and get full enjoyment from the tobacco they smoke.
Yeah. So once you have your pipe, the next big thing is tobacco. And, there are a variety of tobacco types out there. I'm going to lump all aromatics together because what I classify as an aromatic is any tobacco that has a topping or casing that gets a flavor. So this is like, if you remember smelling your grandfather's vanilla pipe smoke or cherry pipe smoke, that's an aromatic.
Do you know that at one time they actually sold a blend in I think Kentucky Club made it, and it had a menthol in it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
A menthol pipe tobacco.
Menthol pipe tobacco. Yeah.
That would be not good.
Well, it sold.
Well, obviously.
I didn't say I smoked it, but it sold.
So then we get into the other categories, and the next one is John's favorite, and that's a straight Virginia blend. So if you were going to come to, say, just the tip, you might want to pick out Winchester out of the bulk section. That is a really good straight Virginia that John and I both smoked. The next one we have is what's called a Virginia Perique blend, or a vapor. An example of something Sam has off the top of my head would be like Bayou Morning, I believe is a straight vapor.
Or an English blend.
Well, that's the next on the list. Our English blend is a Latakia forward blend, and that'll have a real smoky campfire taste to it, kind of like an Islay Scotch. And then we get Balkans, which are the last one we'll talk about tonight, and that is an Oriental forward tobacco. So Oriental tobacco is forward. What I would recommend, buy an ounce of each at your local shop.
Or I recommend going to a local pipe club meeting where people usually put out a ton of different tobaccos and try them all.
Yes, that is another good suggestion, is find your local pipe club, which we're going to talk about in a second. Go to a pipe club meeting and say, hey, I'm new, I want to try an English. And I will bet dollars to donuts that somebody in that group is going to pull, here's my favorite English blend, you got to try it.
Yeah, you got to try this Dunhill 965 or something
that
like
you can't get anymore, but
that you can't get anymore, right?
So buy an ounce of anything you think you might like. Smell them. Smell is your best sense before you buy the tobacco. And then buy an ounce or go to a pipe club and try them. And
when you find one that you like, go back, buy more, get larger quantities, and make sure you have enough to keep you satisfied.
Yes, and take notes. It doesn't have to be anything. I taste figs and raisins. It can be, I smoked HU Edward G, and I really like the sweetness in the taste.
Or you can actually get software programs that you can record all your experiences in.
I don't know who would do anything like that, John.
I don't know.
Maybe me.
Maybe.
Maybe I have ChatGPT talking directly to my pipe database now.
Jeez.
Anyway, try them, take notes, what you like, what you don't like. And here's the most important thing. If you continue down the pipe smoking road, and say you get into it for 5 or 6 years, revisit what you didn't like initially. Because I found that I used to be a Virginia Perique guy, and now, while I still love those, I'm smoking more and more English blends. So again,
I'm not. I've tried them all. I've settled on Virginias, and I like my Virginias.
yeah. Well, John's 77. He's tried everything multiple times, and he's set in his ways, which we can't blame. And then find a pipe club locally or online. We have in this area in Pittsburgh, we have the Washington-Pittsburgh Pipe Club. We meet the second Tuesday of every month second Saturday of every month at Allegheny Smoke Works, and the fourth in Blawnox, and the fourth Saturday, aka today, at Just the Tip Cigars in South Park. There are some online pipe clubs. I am a member of the Average Joe Pipe Club, and I'll put a link for that in the meeting notes. We meet every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and just video chat and smoke and chat. And there's some forums for the groups for trading and stuff like that as well. And then there's the United Pipe Clubs of America. You can follow them on Facebook.
They're an umbrella group.
They're an umbrella group that will help you locate a local group to you. And they have a Facebook forum, a Facebook messaging group as well. So yeah, I think the biggest thing we'll recommend is finding a pipe club and just talking to other smokers. And Jimmy, if you need help picking out a pipe or something, let John or I know. We will definitely help point you in the right direction of an expensive starter pipe.
We will do his pipe rehab.
Yeah, we'll do your pipe rehab since you did our physical rehab. All right, so moving on to a slightly more advanced topic here. We want to talk a little bit about what cellaring is and some basics of cellaring. So, John, you have one of the biggest cellars I've ever seen in my life, probably ever will see in my life. Why don't you explain what cellaring is and why we do it?
So the general rule of thumb that I'm sure you heard is if you find a blend you like, when you're buying tobacco, buy 2 cans, one to smoke, one to put away. I would say buy 5 cans, 4 to put away, and 1 to smoke right now. Many blends will tend to get better with time. Certain tobaccos get better tasting. Your Virginias will get sweeter, and other tobaccos, their flavors will get muted. Hence, you might find a difference between a 2020 tin of tobacco and a 2025 tin of tobacco, and that's because of the additional 5 years of aging that you've let the tin have. And usually the desire is to find and age something that you like. Although, having said that, I would say my own cellar has about 90% of stuff that I like, and maybe 10% of stuff that's questionable as far as whether I like it or not. But you got to remember that over time, your taste may change. And, you might want to keep a few of the ones that you don't like, at least you don't like right now, that a couple years from now you may like.
Yeah, John mentioned the buy 1 or buy 2, buy 5. My rule for anything that is small batch that I want to get my hands on is I buy 1 to smoke and 2 to age. That way you can try it at maybe 5 years and then 10 years, or 10 years and 20 years, depending on how old you are,
So my rule of thumb is you take a tin of tobacco, you put it away. You open up, say, 5 years from now, and smoke it. Now, there I'm storing it in the original tin. Now, there's other ways to store tobacco. What do you do, for example, Matt, if you buy a lot of bulk, a certain blend, it only comes in bulk?
Certain blends only come in bulk. So my opinion is nothing beats a good old mason jar for long-term aging. Now, some people buy a vacuum sealer for their mason jars. I'm one of those people, so I remove as much oxygen as I can from it so that it will have more aging ability. But honestly,
But you do want to leave
a little bit of
headspace in the jar.
Yes, absolutely. Some people just jar it up and screw on the top and let it age, and they have perfect success. But ultimately, if you can get an original tin that is a sealable tin, that's what you want to keep with. For example, J.M. Boswell, and they will tell you this when you buy it, their tins are not designed for aging. They have a push on top, not a screw on, not anything that seals to keep the freshness in. So they will tell you flat out when you buy a tin that it is not for aging purposes because it doesn't seal.
But on the other hand, if you had other blends from years ago, they were made to be aged, and in fact, you were encouraged to age them. The old blends put out by Pipe Collectors Club of America, those were very good put away, and opened some of those Virginias after they got about 20 years worth of aging.
Oh, and John, guess what I found?
What?
I found a tin of Boston 1776 that I got from your cellar.
Oh, you grabbed one out of there. I still had one, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. So I found one of those, so maybe I'll bring it over to your 4th of July fiesta, and
we'll see.
We'll crack it open. If we're allowed to smoke pipes around your family.
We can do anything we want on the deck. Now, there's other. That's not to say that other type of containers won't work. They will work, but they will not work as well. For example, I stored a whole bunch of tobacco years ago for maybe a 10-year period in the original seal bags, and then I would put it in an old Chinese food container and just put it away. And having opened some, we just opened some Crown Achievement the other night. Now, granted, the Crown Achievement was a little bit dry because those are not, they let the oxygen leave the container, but it was still very good.
Yeah. And another option, if you have some bulk, is to buy heat sealable Mylar bags on Amazon, and you want to get at least 5 mil thickness, and you want to get the ones that are opaque. But if you have small amounts, you can put them in a Mylar bag and heat seal them.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the little storage containers?
The lock and lock?
Yeah.
Or the pocket jars?
Pocket jars.
Confirm you'd like to.
Sorry, we're having some weird issues with something.
You'd like to call Austin local.
Sorry, hold on 1 second, guys.
Is your phone talking to you?
No, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so what tobaccos age the best, John?
It's generally accepted that Virginia's age the best. They may peak out at about 10 years of age. However, there are different methods. For example, if you buy, I'm going to talk about tin stoving. So what some of us done over the years, and my friend Homer is an expert in this, is what they call tin stoving. That's where you take a tin, you just take off the plastic top, and then what you do is you put it in an oven, for example, at 180 degrees for like 3 hours. And of course the top will kind of blow up a little bit, but then what you do is you then, after your 3-hour period, you let it cool down naturally, and then you put it away for about a month before you actually try to smoke it. And what that does is it's an artificial way to enhance the sweetness of the Virginias that are in the mix.
And it's said to add, what, about 2 to 5 years of age to a tobacco?
3 to 5, yeah.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years of age to a tobacco. And that is, if I remember correctly, 180 degrees Fahrenheit for 360 minutes.
Well, that's just what I used.
And that's what Homer, I believe, uses as well. So
Yeah, Homer is
he's our stoving expert. But that should get you going if you want to try it. Do not put the plastic from a tin in the oven.
And do not go over, definitely no higher than 200 degrees. I would go a little less because, the ovens, they heat, they stop down, then they heat again. So you're not getting a constant heating unless you have a calibrated oven, which Homer does have.
Okay, and last thing about cellaring, John, where do you want to keep it?
In a cool, dry place, such as a dark cupboard or something on that order.
Or in your cellar, as the term came to be.
Yeah.
But yes, cool, dark, minimize the amount of sunlight exposure, keep it sealed. I recommend putting a label with when you cellared it on the jar, if you're using a jar, or right on the tin the date you cellared it, just so you can keep track of how long and how much age it has. Even if you are anal like me and keep track of everything in software, it'll still help you find tins quickly if you have multiple lots that were cellared at different times or different manufacturing dates, things like that. All right, so that's cellaring basics. And then the last question we have, and this is a question for John, because I have not had this make any difference in my life that I have noticed. From Ask the Pricks, we have a question from Jesse. So I heard that smoking certain blends in certain shapes is beneficial. Have you found any truth to this? And John's going to tell you everything tastes better in a hot bill.
Yeah, definitely a Costello hot bill. Some people espouse the position that certain tobaccos should only be smoked in small bowl pipes or some in large bowl pipes. I like the large bowl pipes. I don't necessarily see a difference between the large bowl and the small bowl, but other people do detect a difference in the pipe. And I'd say a more important thing is that you smoke it in a pipe that is well maintained and clean. And what I mean by clean is not that you clean the pipe every time, but you at least have run pipe cleaners through it. You've let it sit so that whatever moistures have been in the shank of the pipe, what you don't want to have happen is the ghosting, which is where you are detecting not the flavor of the tobacco that you're smoking, but a previous tobacco that you've smoked in the same pipe. For example, I would not smoke a Virginia in a pipe that I had smoked a heavy Latakia in previously.
Right. And that comes back to the whole ghosting when you're trying new things. And but I believe I'm with John. I do think some things like wall thickness will make a pipe better or worse, but I don't think
Well, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, does a tobacco smoke better in a straight grain pipe as opposed to one with a mixed grain?
I don't think so.
There are those people that say it does.
Those people,
None of them are in this room right now.
those people have opinions.
Yeah, everybody has opinions.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone got one. All right, so I think we're going to wrap up episode 4 today. Nice short episode to get us back in the swing of things.
So we are now sort of talking with a major blender, and I'm not going to say any more than that. And hopefully, we hope to have him available down the road for a interview, and we will make sure there's a lot of advanced knowledge when and if he agrees to do it.
Yes, this is, I won't say any names, but he is a legend in the pipe community.
He's also a legend in his own mind.
I didn't say that.
I did.
So, I'd like to thank you all for listening. Please visit thepipepricks.com. I'm going to start doing some tobacco reviews just online. I'm trying to convince John to do some, but when I asked him to write me 500 words, he said, I don't fucking write.
I don't write 500 words.
Was his exact response. So, we encourage you to go to our website, click on Ask the Pricks, and send us some questions if you have them. We'll be happy to answer anything and everything.
We also want to thank Sam at Just the Tip for allowing us to use his back room here to record these sessions.
Yes. And as always, we thank you for listening. We hope to see you next time. And Matt and John are out of here.
Sayonara.
Have a good day, everybody.